Hello and welcome to this month's IRQTC Training Tips newsletter. The topic of this month's newsletter is Cheat the Feet to keep your knees. When we travel around and do these trainings, one of the most common questions that comes up is how do I protect my knees? For both our own health as the rehab professionals, but also of course for our patients and our clients. I'd like to point out initially that the research on Tai Chi shows that there are definite benefits for diagnoses and problems like knee osteoarthritis, and that we also show research-based improvements with quadriceps, hamstrings, as well as ankle dorsiflexors, plantar flexion strength, hip stabilizers, and core stability as well. So there are definitely definite advantages to practicing Tai Chi and Qigong for people with knee problems, as long as we can protect the knees. Now with Tai Chi, we talk about having an empty foot or a full foot. And when you have a full foot, that's the foot that there's weight going through, the foot that you're standing on when you're performing a functional task. And your empty foot is the foot that doesn't have any weight on it, and it's the foot that you tend to move. What I like to point out to people is what makes more sense, moving the full foot or the empty foot? And the obvious answer is the empty foot. However, often people will try to move or rotate their full foot or the foot that there's weight going through. And when this happens, we have increased torsion in the knee itself. So we want to pay attention to that. We're going to talk about and demo 3 things today that we can consider in cheating the feet to protect our knees during Tai Chi practices. So I'm just going to scooch back here a little bit so you can see my legs. One of the most common ones is the sidestepping with brush knee. So if I am holding my ball on one side and I perform brush knee and then step together and then step out and perform brush knee in the other direction, what you'll notice if you look at my back leg, if my foot is pointing out or straight ahead, I'm going to have increased medial knee torsion, and that's going to be a problem. So the way that we fix it is this. So here's my brush knee, step together. When I come back, if you watch my back foot, I just turn my toes in to face the same direction in which I'm moving. I collect and then step out to the side, brush knee, and then again turn my foot in the direction in which I'm moving so that my foot and my knee are lined up. Obviously that's going to be the safest direction. But you want to move the foot when it's empty. For Tai Chi walking, I step forward, shift, rock back, turn the body out, and then step through. Now, in this process, many times this back knee ends up being vulnerable in the medial aspect if my foot is turned out too far. So 2 ways to correct this. One way, on your initial step, remember if you keep your foot pointing forward more, and then when you turn out to step through, then that turnout isn't too excessive. If when you step forward, your foot is already turned out, and then you rock back and turn it out more, and you step through, you've got far too much rotation here to be safe for that knee. So the idea with this, of course, would be to keep that first step pointed forward just a little bit more. Now, if you do end up in trouble with this, though, and you step forward, you turn out, and then when you step through, if that back knee does feel a bit too exposed, as you shift your weight forward, this is the time to turn that back foot before you shift back again to open the other side. Okay? So turn that foot when it's empty. So rock forward. That's the time to adjust or turn that back foot. You rock back, open your body, step through, and then again here is the time to turn and adjust that back foot so that you make sure that your foot and your knee are in the same alignment. When doing gathering practices or bending forward, what we'd like to consider is that the knees always stay behind the toes when bending down to do our gathering practices. If our knees are in front of our toes like that, that can create far too much patellofemoral pressure. So we want to pay attention to that as well. So those are the areas in which we can go ahead and cheat the feet to keep our knees. Thanks so much for joining me here today, and I hope to hear from you real soon. Have a great day.